chasing a dream on a bright new day. Two friends with a mission, silent and still, hearts full of courage, driven by will. Leisure in the sunlight, shadows cast their spell. Stories of the hunt that they'll forever tell. Raise your voice to the sky.
Hello everybody. I'm going to do another segment, another video on one of my favorites. And what I'm talking about is a firearm. And these were firearms that was just recent. Jared and I both have the exact same firearms. I've told you that many times. The Remingtons, we have the exact same Remingtons. Shotguns, same ways. You know, rifles, shotguns. We have Remingtons. But in 2023, spring of 2023, I think it was, Jared bought a new rifle. And I went down to the farm, took him some ammo, because he didn't have ammo, I don't think, for this caliber. It was .308. And I looked at it, I liked it. He shot it, I got to shoot it. Well, in late spring, don't think it was early summer, late spring, I got one. Now the thing is, they're identical. Now this rifle came as a set, or a kit. It had the scope base for the scope mounts, and scope. And it has a HOWA overmolded stock. And that rifle is right here. It is, and he's not here to do the yell. Oh yeah! It's either M1500 or the M stands for Model 1500. Like I said, it's got the HOWA and the YouTube channel decal that I have. I had to put it on mine because mine and his looked identical. But it has the HOWA overmolded stock. It has texture. It feels like rubber. It's not slick. And yeah, the butt stock sounds hollow. This does not. It has a, let me find the, there it is. I think it's it, there. Okay, been a while since deer season. It has a drop down floor plate, so for easy emptying. It has a 3-position safety on it. All the way back, the bolt is locked, and it won't open. Midways, you still have safety. I'm not going to touch the trigger. Don't want the fine folks at YouTube to be upset. But you can work the bolt to empty it. The one thing the 700 BDL Remingtons Jared and I have, you can't do. You have 2-position safety. Safety on, bolt locked, fire. That's it. Then all the way forward, of course, is fire. You can open up the bolt. But that's to help, if you have to go through a lot of brush, you would want this all the way back on safe to where the bolt's locked. So you don't have to worry about something hitting the bolt and just barely taking it out of battery. Okay, so, but when you're emptying it, that's a great feature. Okay, and these are chambered in .308 Winchester. It does have a cap on the muzzle because you can put a suppressor on these. It's threaded for it. It came with the swivel studs already mounted in the stock here. It's got a nice little red dot here, and I think it says HOWA, or Hogue. No, it says HOWA. Yeah. It's a nice rifle. Now this rifle, let me put this away for a minute. Like I told you, the rifle was a kit. Well, I don't want to say kit, but it came ready, aim, fire, or ready, aim, kill, whatever you want to call it. It came, like I told you, scope mounts, scope base, and a Nico Sterling 4 to 12 by 40 scope called the Game Pro. It has adjustment here for your magnification of the crosshairs and what you're looking at. And as you can tell, it has a turret. And here, and you'll notice I'm taking off a cap. There's your windage, and you can adjust this with no tool. And then you have your elevation turret that is right here. And as you can see, it's graduated, and even the bottom you have graduations. If you can see it, hopefully it'll focus in. You have horizontal graduations, and then you have these vertical graduations. And it has 1, 2, 3 little screws to where once you get it zeroed, you're supposed to loosen these screws, lift this cap up, set it back to 0, tighten those screws down. And these things shot great with this scope on them. I'll link a video up here where we shot during the summer. I mean, we went and bought factory ammo, and I know between the both, well, I shot over 100 rounds, he shot over 100 rounds. I think we shot close to 400 or 500 rounds through the summer. We just enjoyed shooting these rifles. 308 Winchester, didn't feel recoil on it. And with these scopes, they were accurate. Then I found out. I went down one day to shoot my rifle, and of course, you know, I put it in a padded case, and when I got out, got my bench set up, took my rest and shot, I was off. I got to looking, couldn't figure it out, so re-sighted it in, and I noticed, how did that get off? The turret will not lock. There is no locking mechanism like on other scopes. I've done some research. There are scopes that have a locking ring. Once it's set, you lock it. It does not have a cap like this. I'll still call this a turret, even though it's not as tall as this. But it's a no tool adjustment, you know, for your windage. But there's no way to lock this, and there's no threads on this. If you'll look, there are no threads whatsoever to put a cap on it. What we found out, especially, now 2023 was a great year for me and Jared at deer camp. I killed a 6-point. The next day he kills a 6-point with these scopes and the HOWA 1500 rifle. Mine was 30 yards, 40 yards. His 6-point was almost 200 yards away, and he got it with one shot. I got mine with one shot, but like I said, it was like 30, 40 yards. His was along the hillside, about 100, and I thought we ranged it 180, 190 yards, almost 200 yards, and he got that deer. But then in 2024, that's when we found a problem. Now, back in 23, when we noticed, hey, these things will turn easy. I mean, I'm sitting there turning it now. You hear one click at a time. I don't know if you can hear it. So it's easy to turn this turret. I don't care what the naysayers say. Walking up the mountain. What happened was that summer we discovered that, and we took a picture of this area right here. But you have to remember the horizontal mark, and you have to remember where the what vertical mark it's on if you didn't loosen these turrets up and set it on 0. What happened was, walking up the mountain with this, the rifle slung over our shoulder and our scope rubbing the backpack as we would take it down or move it, it was causing this to maybe 1 click or 2 clicks, or depending, it's a 1.5 mile walk, and you're walking up, and we're having to walk through laurel. So you get a limb that hits this or gets hung up. It happens. I know people are going to say, "Oh, no, Jetty, a limb can't make that happen. Your backpack can't make that happen." I'm sorry, it happened. We know. And then going in and out of the case. So in 2024, when we went, you've seen the video. Jared, I hadn't seen any deer to take a shot. Jared seen a big buck. He shot, and he missed. But he didn't know he missed. He thought he had this buck. So he goes off and he goes looking for it. I may put a link to that video, maybe the 2023, the Thursday and Friday where I got one and Jared got one, just to part of that, or to the whole video. But in 2024, he shot at that, thought he got it. He searched, he couldn't find it. He had a spike buck walk in, and the spike took off. And then he went over the hill and down into the hollow that goes down to where we come up the mountain, thinking that buck ran over into there. And he looked and looked. Well, that spike showed up, and it had already been an hour and a half, 2 hours. He had found no evidence. So he decided, well, I'm going to take spike. So he shoots. And I can't remember the story. I wish he was here. I can't remember if that buck just stood there or if that spike took off. He didn't go very far, and he stopped. Jared pulled for him again and shot, trying to say, okay, he tried to compensate. Still didn't get it. He went up and looked, nothing. Checked the way the deer went, nothing. And he realized the scope was off. So that day we go down early to the truck. We set up a target, and he gets 25, 30 yards away maybe. I can't remember for sure. And he shoots, and he was shooting low. And he got it set. I checked mine. Mine was off just a little, and I reset it. So then we really babied him the next few days or whatever. Well, I made the comment that I was going to, as soon as I got home from deer camp, I was ordered me a scope. And what I ended up ordering, and I'll put a link to that video where I put it on, was the Bushnell Banner Circle X scope. This is the same scope that's on my 700 BDL, and it has never failed me. I know you probably can't see the crosshair, but I'll put a little image up here of how these crosshairs look. Like I said, it's called the Circle X, and you got your thick crosshairs coming into your thin crosshairs, and right where that transition point takes, there's a round circle. And it's small. But here's the thing. Most scopes you have crosshair going into thin crosshairs, or you got tick marks. If I bring this scope up and I see a deer and I'm aiming for the shoulder, I don't have to pay attention to that crosshair. If I get that circle on that shoulder where I want those crosshairs to be, that's where it's going to be. So I know a lot of people put all these, if it's not a Zeus or a Leopold or whatever, I don't care. I'm not a six-figure income type of person. I can't afford that stuff. But here's the thing. I've hunted with Tasco, Simmon, other Bushnells until I found this Bushnell Banner Circle X. Jared's had Nikon. I can't remember. I've also had a center point. In fact, that's what is on my 25-06 Marlin XL7. And the Tascos I have are from the 70s, early 80s, when Tasco was something. And that's on my 742, 700, 760. I think I got on a couple other rifles, even I think my 22. But the Bushnell Banner has sold me. And as long as I can find them, I will buy them. I have no problem with their optics. Like I said, that crosshair system, the Circle X, is great. I'm no longer, and you can adjust the Bushnell Banner Circle X without a nickel or a penny or whatever. It's toolless. But another scope like this, I'll never use again unless it has a cover that goes over the turret or a way to lock it. Like I said, now this came with the rifle. I had no choice. This came with the rifle. The one addition that I have done to this rifle, other than putting the J&J True Outdoor, I have to do this, or me and Jared got our rifles mixed up. We have the same slings. Now these are just cheap old Allen slings, kind of like neoprene, but the back of them is like a rubber well, no, it's not little beads. It's just a rubber texture. And when you sling this on your shoulder, it don't slip off. Of course, carries some backup rounds. But I put the Bushnell Banner on, used the same rings that came with the rifle. The one addition to the scope is I put these flip-up mounts. They're not see-through. They're solid, but they really are good, and I'll have a link to them in the video down in the description if you're interested. I got these off of Amazon. The logo is an M, but I can't remember the name of what they are. But walking up in the woods, in the drizzle, in the rain, snow, you want to protect your optics. So I have those on. Then when I get in place where I'm going to hunt, a lot of times I have my umbrella that I use for bow hunting. So where I sit, I can have this up, on my lap and open up those covers. If it's a good clear day, I walk up the woods with them both open. That way, quick access. The what came with that, and with the Nico Sterling, was this kind of covers. They're okay in a pinch, but I like to flip up. These you can get lost. So again, I have many favorites. Jared and I both love our Remingtons. Don't get me wrong, they will always be one of my favorites. But this HOWA 1500 is now one of my favorites. We hunted with them this year. I didn't get the opportunity, didn't see no deer. We did check them for zero the day before we started hunting. Jared mentioned that in the video in 2025 when we got to camp. And Jared did see deer, 4 does. You've probably watched the videos from deer camp. He's seen 2 other deer trailing those 4 does, but they had stopped, looked back, and then took off on up the holler. These other 2 deer, which were between the 2 was probably 10, 15, 20 yards. They both come through with their heads down through the mountain laurel, their tails up, following those does. We assumed they were bucks. Jared wasn't taking any chance. He couldn't get a good clear view, so they got past him. But the rifle is awesome. I do my own reloads for it. When we first bought them, when Jared got his and I bought mine, we bought PMC 150 grain lead tip bullets. And like I said, we went through probably 500-600 rounds. I don't know, about 300 rounds a piece, shooting these. And then they gave me brass, which I already had brass, but I wanted new brass. Something that had been shot in that rifle. And I reloaded those with the 150 grain Nosler ballistic tips. And, but they are great rifles. What really impressed me, comparing the 700 BDL to the HOWA. 700, I've had the walnut stock off to clean it. And I've had the stock off the HOWA. The HOWA has aluminum pillar bedding. You can take a dollar bill and go from the front of the barrel in front of the forearm and slide that dollar bill all the way down the receiver. Don't think I can do that with the 700. Of course, it doesn't have aluminum pillar bedding. I think there's two, and I'm not 100% sure, two steel collars that the bolt goes up from the trigger guard and magazine plate. But this HOWA really has impressed me with its design. Bolts slick as can be. So, just wanted to tell you, that's another one of my favorites. Will I hunt with it this year? I sure am. 2026 deer camp, you're going to see me with that rifle. Because I'm a firm believer in it. Yes, I've only gotten one deer, 2023. Didn't have a chance 2024, didn't have a chance 2025. But I know wherever I put that Bushnell Banner, Circle X, that circle, wherever I put that, that is where I'm going to hit. So, with that, appreciate you watching. And I know I don't ask this all the time, but if you found this video, or any of our videos if you watched, please like, subscribe. And as always, don't forget, comment. And as always, see you in the woods.